The ordinary man on the streets of Lagos especially, estate agents pose the biggest challenge to their ability to rent a decent accommodation. This is because of the outrageous agency fees they are charged for their services. On the show today, we'll be looking at how we can uncheck the huge charges of agents and caretakers in Nigeria, most especially in Lagos. Joining us on the show now is the Special Advisor to the Governor of Lagos State on Housing, Barrister Toke Benson. Good morning. Are you there?
Yes, Mariah. Good morning.
Good morning. Good to have you. So before you came on, we've been talking about the issues we Lagosians go through with agency in Lagos State. And we've talked about the fact that some of them are they pad these agency fees. When some of them are asked to pay, prospective landlords are asked to pay 20%. Also, we don't have a verifiable database to find right agents, because sometimes we just end up into quacks and people who are going to who steal our money. So what is Lagos State doing to rectify this issue in housing?
We have an agency called the Lagos State Real Estate Registry. We're telling agents that they must register with the Lagos State government so that we have a compendium of who they are and what they are doing and the properties in their custody. This will give us the opportunity to have a database for Lagosians and Nigerians in general on how to put housing in a very, very orderly manner. So we are telling people, do not patronize agents who are not registered with the state government.
I would like to know, how do we, the ordinary man who's looking for an apartment, identify this platform? How do we know that these agents are registered? What do we see? What do we hear to know that this is genuine?
Where do we go to?
Where do we go to?
It is www.lasrira.lagostate.gov.ng. And if you go on our platform, you would see some registered practitioners there. So you only need to just go there, check if the practitioner you want to use is actually registered with us. If he is not registered with us, it is time for the citizens to take the bull by the horn. But I'm telling the agents that unless you are registered with the Lagos State government, we will not patronize you.
Do they have ID cards?
Yes, we issue ID cards. We also issue certificates, and they have serial numbers that are on their licenses that we give to
let me get to a few more questions. Go ahead.
I would like to know, and I'm sure many people would like to know, within Lagos, what would you say is the official agency fee?
So I would tell you that varies. And the reason why I'm telling you it varies is because it depends on the figure of the transaction. Regular agency fees is not supposed to be more than 10%. And the client has the opportunity or the right to negotiate further. So we've had instances where people are telling us that they've been charging them 20%. It is wrong. It is unethical. It is illegal. Agency fees should be 10% and below, and it is based on negotiations. So we have instances where they have big number transactions that run into millions and billions, where the agency, between the agency and the legal fees, it's 10% and it is negotiated. And I know that big figure transactions do not even pay 5% of agency. They negotiate to like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5%, depending on what the number of the figure of the transaction is.
So we know the law in Lagos State. You're not really, you shouldn't demand 2 years, but there are still landlords demanding 2 years. And there's this issue of ethnic discrimination. Oh, you are from this part of the country, I cannot give you my apartment. These things we know are illegal, but how can victims reach out to the government to help them stop this behavior by landlords? Even single women say, I heard that single women say are having issues. Single women say are having issues.
Yes, we can address issues, but the problem is they are private and they have the right to admit whoever they want as tenants or lessees or lessors in their properties. On the issue of the 2-year tenancy, we've had quite a number of people doing the 1-year tenancy now. But I understand the fear of the landlords or the owners of properties. When people take their properties after they pay 1 year or 2 years, they refuse to follow up on the rent. But we already have a bill in place now, and that's the mortgage foreclosure law, where the executive has signed it. It's gone to the House of Assembly. And this takes care of the sit-tight tenants. So if you have an agreement with a tenant or you have a mortgage in place and that person defaults on the mortgage, we have a process whereby you don't even have to go to court anymore. It's already in there. It's going to be in the agreement. And once you breach it, you get the first notice, you get the second notice, the foreclosure thing kicks in, and then we can get you out of the property.
Wow.
So people are scared to rent
That's
their properties
fantastic.
because of sit-tight tenants. Yes, and the number of years they spend in court. But that's not going to be the case anymore as soon as the House of Assembly passes that into law.